Hello everybody, and welcome to Lukky's Lab. This is a little series I'm starting to do in between my bigger videos. They're basically just videos of me experimenting in Godot, learning new stuff, making mistakes, and yeah, I just want to take you along for the ride, see what I do and what I find out. These are definitely not meant to be very professional videos, they're more just trial and error and finding stuff out. So for today, I'd like to take you with me on this little journey of building a triple barrel shotgun in Godot, fully animated and interactive with the world. I've been playing a little bit of Battlefield 1 recently, and I've been really enjoying the shotgun gameplay, and I just find shotguns in video games are such a unique weapon. These close range, really beefy, powerful weapons. And I think a lot of that power comes from how they interact with the world and how they are animated, and that's what I'm trying to encapsulate today. So the first thing we're gonna need is a model of a shotgun. My first attempt was modeling it myself. I had this idea for a royal shotgun, meaning like a Victorian era, very highly detailed, like royal family shotgun. But after 2 hours of modeling, what you're seeing right now, I quickly realized that this was way over scope for the project. I wanted this project to be 6 to 8 hours max, and hand painting and sculpting all this intricate detail of this royal shotgun was just not in the budget for this project, sadly. And so I started looking online for a model, and I'm very glad that I did, because I found this amazing triple barrel shotgun model. The model was made by A Chronic. I'll leave a link to his page down below. It's actually a 6-year-old model, but it looks amazing. So now that we have the model, I'll quickly drop it into Blender and separate all the loose parts so I can animate it in Godot. I actually don't create any materials for the model in Blender. I do this in Godot because it leaves me with more control over the textures and their import settings. So now that we have our shotgun model all imported and packed into Godot, let's start with the animating and programming. Now I actually made a tutorial a while back on first-person animations within Godot. With this tutorial I supplied a basic hand model that can be used to create first-person animations fully within Godot. And this was my first attempt for this shotgun as well. Just importing that hand model from my own tutorial and then animating it with that. But although I really like this cartoony, simplistic hand model, I kinda wanted something more realistic for this shotgun. So I dove back into my old projects and found this hand rig that I used for this unrecord demo a while back. It's fairly detailed and I think it would look great on this shotgun. Now one problem I was gonna have with this rig is that it was skeletal animation, meaning I could only animate it in Blender, and I really don't want to animate in Blender for this one, I want to keep it all in Godot. So I kind of hacked my way around this and I just made 2 poses for each hand and then just animated the whole arm itself. So none of the fingers are actually moving, but I'm just animating the whole hand to slap in the new shells to close up the rifle. But in this fast motion, it's barely visible. But of course, they're not the best animations, but I think they serve their purpose for making the shotgun look beefy and responsive. And this is where my projects always enter the infinite tinkering and tweaking phase. I just keep playing around with the demo, tweaking the animations a little bit, and just going back and forth, making smaller and smaller adjustments to the animations. I actually find it a lot of fun to work this way. You get real quick feedback on what you're doing and then iterate really quickly. But it is a giant time sink and you can spend hours just playing around and trying to get the animation to shake just right. And after sinking a bunch more time into these animations, I decided to start on world interaction. I wanted something to really respond to the shots of the shotgun. So not just exploding bottles or stuff like that. I wanted a box that I could push around. So I started playing around with this rigid body. It's actually a very basic system. I cast raycasts from the viewport into the world, and then I check if the raycast hit a rigid body, and this collision gives me a normal, meaning the angle of the face that the ray is hitting. And I just invert this normal, so it's a pushing force instead of a pulling, and then I apply this to the rigid body. Then to make the shots a little more beefy, I also add an upwards force, so whenever you hit a cube, they're also pushed upwards a little bit. It's not very realistic, but I think it adds a nice effect to the cubes, and they bounce up a little bit when you shoot them. Then finally, I also give them a random rotation when I hit them, resulting in this effect, and this is exactly what I wanted. These cubes really feel like they're being attacked by this shotgun, flying around and twisting when you shoot them. So that's where I had to draw the line for this experiment. It was supposed to be a 1-day build, doing it all in 1 day, but in the end I spent 3 days tinkering and playing around with the physics and the animations, so yeah, it went way over scope as usual. But I really like the end result. I really achieved what I was going for. The shotgun feels beefy, shooting around these cubes is very satisfying, and I think this experiment turned out a great success. Of course there's a lot of things that I would like to have added if I had more time. Sound, for example, it's a big part of making a weapon feel beefy. But I just know that if I was going to create a reloading sound that matches with all the animation movement, I was going to spend a couple more days on this project, and I really wanted this to be short so I could focus time on my bigger tutorials and other projects, so I'm gonna leave it here. I would like to thank you guys for watching once again. My name is Lukky and this was the first episode of Lukky's Lab, and I'll hope to see you in the next one. Bye.